All right, good morning and almost afternoon, everybody. Right before lunchtime, myself and Mike DeKoning are going to go through the simulation and PDM What's New with SOLIDWORKS 2021. So again, I'm Robbie Hoyler out of the Charlotte office, and we've got Mike DeKoning on the line from the Greenville office as well to go through some of the best new features in this release. Just a couple of things. After this session, we're going to have our final session of the day on the session 4 Markforged Additive Manufacturing. So if you guys will stick around with us after lunchtime at 1:30, that will start an hour after this session concludes. With that being said, we're just going to jump right in and talk about some of the new stuff from SOLIDWORKS 2021 Simulation. SOLIDWORKS Simulation 2021 makes it easier than ever to succeed with your simulation-driven design efforts. The analysis process is simplified and more flexible. And with the accuracy and speed improvements, there's something for everyone, new and existing users alike. This is a pretty big simulation release this year. We have a lot of information to share with you guys, especially around the contacts that are in SOLIDWORKS simulation, faster contact calculation, contact stabilization, geometry correction for contacts during solve. And we've also renamed a good deal of our contacts. So you're going to want to sit through some of that, new and old users alike, to understand what that is going to be called moving forward. And then we've also got a couple of other delighters like the efficient, robust meshing tools that we have, some additional mesh diagnostic tools, and some other good stuff in here. So let's take a look at the wheel bracket that comes off of this robot. To validate how this corner mount assembly will perform, fixtures and loads are created. To reduce the calculation requirements, the hardware components are set to use draft quality meshing. You can mix draft quality and high quality meshing as of 2020, but 2021, I'll talk about some new tools and how the mesher works to improve some of the performance behind this. From there, we can mesh and run to solve the study. The results look great, and this study was set up and solved faster than in previous versions. This is partially because of the added support for multi-core processing of contacts and multi-core meshing available with Simulation Professional and Premium. But let's take a closer look to see how Simulation 2021 has made this whole process easier. New properties for bonded and contact interactions specify gap and stabilization regions to automatically make your simulations more robust, even for models with slightly imperfect geometries. For example, with this new property, clearances between the bolt and nut and plate are automatically recognized and treated, saving you from inaccurate results and time spent troubleshooting the study. I'm sure everyone has probably spent some time inside of SOLIDWORKS simulation verifying contacts that, if you have a bonded condition, just don't work from time to time. This is much cleaner inside of SOLIDWORKS Simulation 2021 because of the changes that were made. You should be spending a lot less time getting a lot of your contacts to solve using that threshold geometry. The results at interaction areas are more accurate in Simulation 2021. For contact interactions, cylindrical, spherical, and conical geometry correction factors are now integrated into the solver. And for bonded interactions, improved accuracy is also built in. This enables faster and more robust meshing where interacting components don't share common mesh nodes. The pore elements are now automatically isolated, making them quick and easy to find. And the mesh helper may be used to automate the mesh refinement if necessary. So you're going to see a lot more mesh diagnostic tools in this version to help you out. When it comes to time to solve the study, choosing the right solver can save a lot of calculation time. This is why the automatic solver selection algorithm has been optimized to better account for the different variables to give you the best run for your study in a computer. Of course, for experienced users, you can still choose between the multiple solvers and select them manually. Experienced users will also recognize the terminology updates through SOLIDWORKS simulation, especially when it comes to component interactions. The user interface now matches conventional industry terminology and better represents the enhancements you've seen here. So you'll see a lot of changes in the connections folder. Bonded contact is still referred to as bonded. Node penetration is now referred to as just contact, and allow penetration is now referred to as free moving forward. So these updates are a major performance enhancement for SOLIDWORKS in 2021, and they're going to be called that moving forward. So at the end of that, you're going to see that this bracket can be solved and utilized faster than ever before because in particular, the multi-core tech is extremely powerful. Experienced users are going to recognize that while the terminology and things change, the interaction between these components is much faster than before. Simulations in some cases are going to take a fraction of the time that they used to with the contact calculation, now making use of all that multi-core technology. And even some of your larger meshes are going to calculate in a fraction of that time. And you still have the 3 types of mesh to use for that. So from simple to complex studies, you're going to achieve faster and easier results with your simulation-driven design efforts using SOLIDWORKS Simulation 2021. SOLIDWORKS Flow Simulation 2021 expands the type of CFD problems you can solve and continues to improve how project results are processed. We're going to take a look at some of the enhancements to Free Surface, which is new in the next, which was new in the last couple of releases, but we're going to add some additional capability on top of that. We've got some very powerful enhancements when it comes to solving heat flux or where heat is traveling inside of an assembly. And then we have some improvements with some of our calculated and goal capabilities and plot capabilities inside of flow simulation. So we're going to cover a couple of those and what they mean. The rotating region is a powerful feature that is used to simulate fluid driving motion of rotating components. Now in Flow Simulation 2021, rotating regions can be combined with free surface features. This is ideal for mixing tasks and can be leveraged further to gain more insight on product performance. So here we see the thruster that we're going to simulate off of the robot. These are placed in different areas on the robot to give motion inside of the submerged tank. So for this thruster, we're solving for the torque and power requirements when it interacts with 2 separate fluids simultaneously. Goals are going to be created to track these outputs, and by going to the history section of the goal plot, their values can be viewed throughout the duration of the study. With Flow Simulation 2021, new columns provided in the summary table make it easier than ever to find the maximum value over the course of the simulation and when it occurs. We're using the transient study analysis here to find the application of all of the loads and capabilities over time that this thruster can output. So you're getting a power curve over time by doing this. Creating common plots to visualize results is now even more efficient by using the Create Plots from Scene command, which you can find by right-clicking on Results. You can even create the same plots in multiple projects all at once. Just activate the plots to view them. If you create one or multiple plots that you want to use in other projects, simply show the desired plots and choose this Create Scene Template option, and now you're ready to create your various custom plots in any other project with only one command. This will greatly amplify your visualization prowess with your results. Another common application for SOLIDWORKS Flow Simulation is heat transfer. This vehicle enclosure has multiple electrical components inside that generate heat. The enclosure itself is designed to act as a heat sink. But how can you determine exactly how the heat is moving from one place to another? The flux plot that was introduced a couple of releases ago provides a graphical interface so you can easily understand where heat is coming from and where it's going. A new option in this plot groups all items by type so you can quickly check the energy balance of the simulation and ensure that your study has fully converged. So what goes in must come out, and you can take a look at this plot and exactly pinpoint those values. Investigating specific areas of the model can be done by creating a cropped region now. When you click the automatic plot min and max options, they're now calculated from this cropped region so that you can clearly communicate the range of values without further manual modification of the plots. Another improvement with goals is the ability to calculate the minimum, average, and maximum from a selection of goals. For example, you can easily discover the maximum temperature across all of the batteries and PCBs with minimal setup work. So overall, there's a lot of enhancements to flow simulation that'll increase your abilities to go through your designs and apply some really, really powerful new features. Now, to further reduce your amount of manual calculations, you can set up custom visualization parameters that can change depending on how other custom visualization parameters are set up. The Magnus formula for calculating dew point temperature is a great example of when to use this new functionality. Just set up the items in the engineering database once and they're there for you to use whenever you need them. You can use them in any future projects moving forward and they save inside of your software. So Flow Simulation 2021 has major enhancements that make the software more agile in a whole array of new applications, such as fluid mixing, free surface calculations, and rotating regions. These breakthroughs increase the value of SOLIDWORKS Flow Simulation in this major release. There's a lot more simulations that we can do now that you couldn't do before. So if you're inside of an industry where you're mixing multiple fluids or you're using mixing blades or you have a lot of rotating components inside of your flow fields, there's a lot of new powerful features specifically for you in this release. So with SOLIDWORKS Flow Simulation 2021, you're going to improve your simulation-driven design tasks with expanded capabilities and more efficient results processing. Now we're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about SOLIDWORKS Plastics 2021. SOLIDWORKS Plastics 2021 gives you insights into new injection molding processes for your designs, as well as a continuation by simply adding and streamlining the setup process to run plastic simulations. A new injection molding process is available in Plastics 2021 to accommodate multiple material overmolding. This manufacturing process is a perfect example right here. You have a part like this that requires a soft protective covering molded over the rigid plastic. You can now also fully define your analysis before any meshing is required. This starts with selecting materials for each injection process. SOLIDWORKS Plastics 2021 has added over 300 new materials from global manufacturers. There's a lot more in this list now. For the first injection, one of the new ABS materials from BASF will be used for the main body. The second injection process will use another new material, a thermoplastic, for the soft protective cover, selected from the recently added list or the favorites list. Once the material for each injection process has been specified, you simply need to apply the material to its associated domain. In the case of the ABS part to the part body and the TPE to the overmold geometry. SOLIDWORKS Plastics makes it easy to define other critical elements in your plastics analysis as well. For instance, you can define cooling channels without the need to physically model the mold. SOLIDWORKS Plastics 2021 significantly improves your simulation results by creating more realistic baffles and bubblers within these virtual cooling channels. All you need to worry about are the specifications for each type, which include parameters like the OD, height, and the thickness of the blade in the baffle channel, and ID tube in the bubbler channel. You'll see how these changes impact the mesh shortly. Like the cooling channels, you can define a runner system and a virtual mold, allowing you to analyze and look at multiple scenarios for your injection process before investing time and energy into designing and modeling the complex components of the mold itself. All of these domains, like the part geometry, can now have their materials applied to them prior to any meshing taking place, allowing you to fully specify the components in your plastic injection analysis. Other critical mold design elements, such as the injection locations, can also be defined directly on the 3D model without the need to mesh any geometry. By referencing the geometry itself instead of the mesh, it saves time setting up different design scenarios, as well as automatically updating when the 3D model itself changes. All of the boundary conditions in the plastic study can be defined geometrically this way. This includes other design elements, such as the cooling channel inputs and outputs, as well as things like the clamp force direction. The entire plastics analysis has been defined geometrically and virtually. This makes the file on disk smaller, portable, and more adaptive to change. Eventually, when you do mesh the model in preparation for the final simulation, you'll be able to immediately see the benefit of those improved baffles and bubblers defined earlier. They are now fully meshed and modeled appropriately, giving you more accurate simulation cooling results without the need to fully model the cooling channels and the physical components that make up the special inserts like you have had to do in the past. By defining the entire simulation study on the 3D model and virtual domains, it has enabled a more dynamic workflow where you can look at and evaluate different scenarios in your design before any of the heavy lifting is done. The results themselves, which include the new multi-material overmold injection process, are now more accurate when considering cooling, giving you confidence in your injection molding process before you even start designing or investing time and money into the mold itself. So SOLIDWORKS Plastics 2021 closes the loop on the geometrically based definition started over the past couple of releases, simplifying the simulation setup process. This, along with a vast new library of materials and the new overmold injection process, will change the way you evaluate your plastic injection molding processes. So now at this time, I'm going to hand it over to Mike DeKoning, and he's going to talk to you guys about SOLIDWORKS PDM and what's new with SOLIDWORKS 2021.
Thanks, Robbie. I appreciate that. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Well, this is the world that we live in now, virtual meetings. Can you see my screen?
I am trying to. Hold on. I can.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you very much for that verification. Like Robbie said, my name is Mike DeKoning. I am located in the Greenville, South Carolina office with TPM, and my focus is on data management, in particular SOLIDWORKS PDM, as well as SOLIDWORKS Manage. So we're going to talk about those two products and what's new in 2021. SOLIDWORKS PDM 2021 expands its integration with Windows Explorer. It lets you visualize document references with the highly requested Treehouse view. For those of you who aren't familiar, Treehouse is an application that works with SOLIDWORKS assemblies to allow you to kind of map out what your assembly is going to look like. And this has been a tool that's been available for SOLIDWORKS for a while, but we're going to get a taste of that in PDM, as you'll see shortly. It adds multiple column sets to provide data insight at various levels of detail. We have expanded workflow icons to bring visual recognition of document status to system users. Bills of materials introduce increased capability, and everyday PDM operations are faster. Rob Stoccloso alluded to this earlier, and we've got a couple benchmarks that we're going to be able to show you shortly. One of the best features of SOLIDWORKS PDM is its integration with Windows Explorer. In 2021, the Windows 10 ribbon interface is extended into the Vault view itself. While thumbnails are visually appealing, Details view is where the power of PDM is revealed. Columns expose specific sets of visible properties to users as they work in Details view. In PDM 2021, you can customize these even further in more places and provide choices with multiple column sets. You can now define quick search results. Like before, you can add, sort, and delete columns. Clicked backwards. Hold on a second. We'll get there. We've got plenty of time. You can also set permissions as an admin to view and to set the default preference per user or group. You can provide more meaningful access to data for everyone. And in 2021, there's a new administrative permission that gives you control over user and group ability to customize their columns. As you build workflows, you'll appreciate the new and updated icons for states in PDM 2021. The number of icons has increased from 19 to 166 to help differentiate each step and add some color to your process workflow. This enhances visual recognition of document status for users whenever they are accessing the vault. As you can see, this mount for forward sensor suite is in the cost engineering state, which needs a redesign. But what references are going to be impacted by the changes? New in PDM Professional, Treehouse View is available in the Where Used and Contains tabs. This visual reference can be printed or exported to an Excel file with thumbnails, which could become part of your change order documentation. A quick multi-select, and you can check out the necessary parts, assemblies, and drawings to make this change. Fast forwarding, the bracket has been redesigned to use aluminum plates. Converting this model into a weldment creates cut list items, and in 2021, these are fully supported in the PDM computed bills of materials. Even this exclude from cut list option is now taken into account. And it's not just weldments that are better supported in 2021. Derived part references, as well as those created from insert part, mirror, and 3D interconnect are included as well. SOLIDWORKS BOM component display settings are fully recognized. For example, promoting the configuration so the children will be present in the next level up. A comparison of the computed bill of materials shows the new version of the BOM is taking into account all the flexibility you have as a designer inside SOLIDWORKS. You'll also note the new icons shown in the type column for the cut list items. PDM 2021 introduces some significant performance enhancements. Here are two benchmarks that SOLIDWORKS R&D did. The first is using different assemblies with large numbers of components and configurations, which shows massive decreases in time to just display the check-in box. The destroy operation, which completely removes documents from the vault, meaning the files are deleted from the archive server. This process was updated so it worked for customers who have high volumes of data created and destroyed as part of their process. Some other performance improvements are shown here. Be sure to check out the What's New PDF for a complete list. SOLIDWORKS PDM 2021's expanded configurability and increased performance help you manage your team's file-based processes and deliverables better than ever. So we're going to move on to SOLIDWORKS Manage. SOLIDWORKS Manage 2021 helps you take your efficiency and collaboration to new levels. Sharing designs with outside contractors has never been easier. Powerful new bill of materials editing tools allow you to structure your BOMs more quickly and accurately, and new project management capabilities allow you to visualize and plan your design tasks with ease. For those of you who are unfamiliar with SOLIDWORKS Manage, it extends SOLIDWORKS PDM by adding additional capabilities such as item management, process management, project management, and dashboards and reports. Managing multiple projects is a common task for project managers. New in Manage 2021 is the ability to create project lists. They can be created to meet individual needs or defined by an admin to be shared globally. Project lists provide easy visibility to powerful resource management tools like scheduling, capacity planning, and load charts, helping you make informed decisions about project start dates. Assigning tasks to users and allowing them to update the completion task and deliverables is a powerful way to keep up to date with the progression of a project. New for SOLIDWORKS Manage 2021 is the Auto Update Project Service. This background service can be configured to check for task updates and automatically update the completion progress of stages. Additionally, any attachments that have been added to the task can automatically be transferred to the deliverable section of the project. Manage 2021 also provides new ways to visualize project tasks. Out-of-the-box task dashboards are accessible directly from the project and provide clear visibility to task burn down as well as status and priority. Manage 2021 also provides new ways to visual project tasks. The task dashboard can now be grouped by priority as well as status, allowing you to quickly visualize the assignment of tasks. With a simple drag and drop, tasks can be moved to the in progress status. And with a double click, task information can be accessed directly from the task board. Items are a powerful way to correlate design data in Manage. This item record has a reference to several SOLIDWORKS assemblies that need to be consolidated into a manufacturing bill of material. Modeless Windows now allow you to open multiple records and work in them at the same time, facilitating the ability to copy and paste from one bill of material to another. When using the copy from command, you can select the assembly you want to copy and now preview the components to be added, deselecting any items that are not required. Now from inside the bill of material, familiar editing tools like Cut are available. Cut items turn orange, indicating that they are currently undergoing a cut operation, and once the bill of material is saved, they disappear from the list, as you would expect. This assembly has a sheet metal part that will need to undergo a laser cut operation for the flat pattern, as well as a bending operation on the brake press. New for Manage 2021 is the ability to create new and new from records directly from the bill of material without having to exit the current record. Simply adjust any metadata and specify what should be carried over into the new record. To add this sheet metal component to these manufacturing operations, you can use the new dissolve command on its parent assembly. This command allows you to indicate which subassemblies you'd like to break down into their individual components. Once completed, you can remove the components that aren't required from the bill of material. Then simply cut and paste the sheet metal bracket into the laser operation and brake press operation. New for the web client in Manage 2021 2021 is the ability to preview SOLIDWORKS CAD data using the capability of e-drawings on the web. This full previewing capability comes from PDM Professional on the web. So this is finally available to users on SOLIDWORKS Managed Web Client. Finally, when it comes to sharing data with suppliers, it couldn't be easier with the share command. This tool creates a unique link that can be added to an email or shared directly. You can add security precautions such as passwords and link timeouts, and templates can be made available to ensure that all reference components are packaged up for download. Suppliers simply click the link to download the files that you shared with them. With these great enhancements, SOLIDWORKS Manage 2021 allows you to more efficiently manage projects, simplifies creating manufacturing BOMs, and lets you share files securely. So, do we have questions either for Robbie on the simulation features or to myself on PDM or Manage? Robbie, do you see anything?
I do not.
Oh, wait a minute. Here, let's see. I've got one here. Are weldment BOMs and weldment cut lists still available? I think you're talking about PDM, and yes, even though there's the bill of material will show the cut list items now, the weldment BOMs and weldment cut lists are still available in PDM 2021.
And I do have another question here coming in, reading back up into the chat. The question is, how is simulation faster than it was before? The contact calculation and mesh calculation are now both utilizing multi-core technology. So a lot of the equations that run inside of SOLIDWORKS simulation in the background when you're doing the matrices reordering operations, it's running through those using multi-core tech, but to actually solve the contacts and the mesh itself, it was still only using one core, just like SOLIDWORKS does. SOLIDWORKS simulation, for the most part, when solving, is multi-core, but SOLIDWORKS is still only a single core software, as are most CAD programs. So we're using multi-core technology on the contact solving and mesh solving so that you get a faster mesh, you get a faster run through on the contact so that the actual solve time, the part that was not multi-core now is multi-core. So overall you're splitting that time to calculate down to a function of however many cores you have. So if you have a quad core, you're going 4 times faster. If you have multi-threading enabled, then you go 8 times faster. If you have an 8 core, you're going 16 threads, so you could be going up to 16 times faster and calculating some of that. So you should see some initial jumps in performance just by downloading 2021 and using that for SOLIDWORKS simulation. In addition, there was a question about some of the sim contacts and improvements there. I personally had about 10 or 11 SPRs from last year, and all of them got implemented either in 2020 SP5 or 2021 SP0. That's going to be coming out here, I think 2 days from now is when the new release comes out. It comes out this week, if not this week, next. And so you're going to see a lot of new enhancements and fixes there to some of the contacts that weren't there before. So Any other questions? Warren tells me on the side, the new release SP0 is actually out today, so you can download 2021 SP0 today. Thank you, Warren.
Woohoo. I didn't get a question on this. I honestly anticipated that I would, so and I actually had to go back to SOLIDWORKS technical support to ask about this. The share file feature that's new in SOLIDWORKS Manage 2021 does not require a license of Manage. It does require that you have the web client for Manage accessible by your suppliers outside. So I wasn't sure about that myself. So I haven't set up the web client personally. So I wanted to check on that and see. So doesn't require a Manage license, but does require that you configure your Manage web client to be accessible from outside. I guess that makes sense because the file actually resides on your system. But by having the web client available outside, that makes it accessible to your external suppliers, let's say.